And we are back. I hope the fan noise is not too crazy. The heat index today is like 114. It's pretty wicked, but I'll show you guys what we got going on today. So off camera, we ignore the rattle can. Off camera, we got the welded diff back in. It's fully mounted. I gotta finish torquing the axle nuts, and I have decided I'm going to take this throttle body off and go back to the stock throttle body. I'm having some issues building an intake for it. I really want to drive the car, get it tuned, and I don't want to have to wait on air intake parts. And here in the Focus, we have our wideband sensor with our gauge that we need to hook up to a 12 volt on ignition. So that's gonna be something that I think Jake's gonna have to help me with. I've never set one of these up before. And we have Megasquirt plug and play. I bought a Gen 2, not a Gen 3. Your boy's not balling like that. We gotta finish doing a couple things, buttoning up some odds and ends, and we're gonna get straight into the wiring stuff. And it is hot, so I'm probably gonna melt to death today. So let's get into it. These were the longest M8 by 125 that Tractor Supply had. And they're the nearest store. And the bolts are at my house, which is like an hour from here. So, I mean, the new old throttle body's off, so that's cool. But it looks like that's probably not happening today now. Which is okay, shit happens. Alright, axle nuts are tight, but I am a dingus. I lost the drive shaft bolts. Well, I'm gonna run to O'Reilly's and see if they have a metric kit. That's insane. Package secured. Drive shaft bolts are, they got this little gap in them in the threads for the flange that it goes through for the diff and the drive line. One, these bolts don't have it. Two, none of them are the right thread pitch. I thought these were 1.5. They're 1.25. So I'm trying to decide what to do. This should have tortured me. Torture. First try. No shot. Let's go, baby. Gosh dang it. I put the bolt thing the wrong way. Alright, it's holding it. I'm gonna leave my hand there for moral support. Now it's stuck. That's cool. It probably don't spin either, does it? It doesn't. I got one of my new bolts stuck, and I don't like that I'm laying directly under this thing. It's not heavy, but it's heavy enough where if it hits me in the head, it's gonna hurt. Damn, man. We do, however, still have to get the rear brakes on. You guys have seen a lot of brakes in previous videos, so I'm probably just gonna do some YouTube magic. Brakes are on. They're rusty from all the rain, so I gotta set the parking brakes, which I don't remember how to do, so I'm gonna have to watch some videos on it. Get some drive shaft bolts ordered, and that'll probably wrap it up, at least for today. So the next time you see me, it'll probably be a different day, doing the same stuff, trying to get a Miata running. Back in the garage, we got bolts for the throttle body, and our drive shaft bolts came in. Alright, this is just a test fit because I wanted to check some things out, and my prediction was correct. The little vacuum breather running into the coolant reroute. I cut it. and see if I can plastic weld it, because this is plastic. So if I can cut this off here and this off here and just plug them up. Come off. Yeah, see? Hitting the whole hose. All right. I might do that. I might go get some like plastic JB weld tomorrow and plastic weld that. Oh. Damn it. All right. Despite the disappointing air cleaner stuff, we do still have drive shaft bolts. So we can put those guys in. I don't know what's been going on. I was making really good progress, and now it's like I'm stuck waiting on little stuff for the whole car to get it back together. I don't know if that's normal for a car build or if it's just me. I feel like it's me. Not a whole lot got done. It's hot, even with the sun going down. It's hot. So I guess I'm gonna climb under the car and finish putting the drive shaft on. Slap the tires back on, and I might set the car on the ground. All right, drive shaft bolts are in. We're good to put the tires back on. Yep, I do this for fun. There we go. About time. So I cut that piece of the intake manifold off that had the tube coming off of it for the vacuum line, and we JB clear welded it. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I figured try something, anything. So it's got to set up for about an hour. I just shoved some paper in there with a plastic bag behind it. So hopefully that works. We'll see. I'm no mechanic, so. My idea kind of worked. I'm gonna spray paint this now to try and hide that, so. It fits on the car again, and it really doesn't look that bad. I could also be trying to convince myself that in my head, but that's not terrible. I wasn't able to really smooth it out like I wanted to, but it's on, it's gonna work until I have money for something else. All right, we picked ourselves up a cheap O'Reilly's air filter and some vacuum line. Something that has constantly drove me insane since I've had this car is the green line coming from the brake booster over to the intake manifold. I'd say that this marks the engine bay as complete. Oh man, it looks so good. If you can't tell what my favorite color is, it's blue's my favorite color. But yeah, it's all together like a car again. This is exciting, man. It's been a long time. I think today is the day. We have the Megasquirt PNP Gen 2. I went with the Gen 2 because my pockets can't handle a Gen 3. So it should be able to do everything I needed to do. I got my tuning software registration finished up last night, so we're good to go ahead and install this, as well as we have our wideband sensor from AEM. I have no idea what I'm doing, so if I make mistakes and I screw up, try not to judge me too badly, because this is all a big first for me. The stock ECM will sit behind the passenger side seat, so we're gonna go ahead and do all that. All right, we got the factory ECU right here, and what I really like about ECU that I bought is they come with this little sheet with QR codes, And what that does is it gives you a step-by-step on installing the ECU that you bought, as well as downloading the software and registering yourself as a tuner. So recommend, if you have a Miata or you're looking for a plug and play, I know Megasquirt offers more than just the Miata. Highly recommend it, at least for ease of install. They make it very, very straightforward and very simple. Right. Oh, almost fell over. We got the stock ECU out. There's 3 nuts that hold it in place, and then there's going to be 3 plugs, this big one here, that guy, and that guy. I'm pretty sure this one here is for like a special edition, you know, extra add-ons and stuff like that. But stock ECU's out. The plugs are a little bit tough, but yeah, that's out. Probably going to go ahead and plug the new one in and bolt it up. I'm just following the guide that was provided with the ECM, and it's all been pretty straightforward. Hasn't been very difficult at all. So line is in. I will have to remember to get a grommet for this hole here. You take like a screwdriver, like I use like just a flathead, and you have to jam it down inside that hole to push the insulation back. And then through the cab, you come up under the insulation. I couldn't quite reach the hose while I was feeding it through the front, but I took like a pick and I was able to hook around it and pull the hose down. But yeah, that's if you got 2 people, dude, 2 people, that took me probably 45 minutes or more. It was, and it's hot. It is hot out. I'm like sweat through my clothes, everything. This sucks. It's fun though. I'm just glad that the line's through. Peep that. Car's got a new brain. Pretty straightforward install. So I ran the vacuum line from the intake manifold through the firewall, up through the carpet, back here, plugged into the ECM. There's a little hole here for your fuel door. That's why I ran the tuning cable. That way I can still put this up and this kind of sit between the seats and the center console. It just plugs right into the factory harnesses, and you do have to drill 2 holes. I just used some self-tappers. It went in pretty easy, but ECU's in. And that feels really good. So we gotta run a wideband and then tune it, but I'm exhausted, so I'm gonna go to sleep. Alrighty, it's been a couple days since the ECU was installed. I have to go ahead and route a wideband. I went ahead and did a couple things just to kind of set up and prepare a little bit. So I'm looking for 12-volt ignition power, which is going to be this striped wire right here. So we're going to tie the wideband into this. This is for the power windows. I went ahead and pulled the whole tombstone off of the dash and found this really cool 3D printed gauge bezel. I bought it through Moss Miata. It was like $9, but the AFR gauge is basically going to slide into that bezel, and it's going to sit in this vent on the tombstone, and I will put the other vent back in until it's boosted, and then I'll probably run a boost gauge out of this one.
Sorry.
Who rung that bell?
I don't know what you're talking about. The games begin.
So one of the first things that I can install while we're sitting here waiting is the new shift boot. I'll probably have to cut it down a little bit. It's a lot larger than the old crusty one. Since the car's color theme is going to be blue and the interior is already black, I figured that this would be kind of cool. I don't know, Etsy, and it was pretty cheap, and it's not bad quality at all. So we're going to swap them over. The old boot looks like it's just held in by these little clips. You just slide the boot out from under it. And yeah, we might have to punch some holes in this and cut it down to size and make it fit right. But of course we can't fully install it because the dash is all apart. So we're gonna get the boot swapped over, and I'll show you guys that when I get to it. I have a little idea to drill through the plastic here and go down, so I can just run the wires up through the vent and still work around this connector that I need. So I gotta find a drill bit to drill through that. And then I'm also going to have Izzy go ahead and pull the header off so that when Jake gets here, so that when Jake gets here, we can go ahead and weld it back together. And then when the car's up in the air, we should be able to fit it through the bottom of the car and then back on. So we got some work to do.
That's wild.
So I went ahead and took a drill bit and drilled through the vent here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna run the wires through that hole down behind the HVAC controls and down here where we can still kind of tie it, and then clean everything up and make sure it's kind of stuffed back out of the way.
No.
Smile. Billy, say cheese.
All right, so we drilled the vent out. We have the wires ran. Are the wires for power? It does in the instructions offer 2 optional wires to hook up. The optional wires being white and blue for analog and data logging. I'm not gonna worry about it. So yeah, red and black are all I really have to worry about. I will somehow figure out how to tie these in to the 12-volt ignition power, hook the gauge up, and then get everything to work. So it's going pretty good, pretty smooth so far. All right, so my car's a little messed up, but the black and white wire is 12-volt ignition power. Black wire is ground. We have our power and ground from the sensor side. These little solder connects soldered in. I have it plugged in to power the gauge, so I'm gonna hook up the battery and we'll see if the gauge should turn on when I flip the key on. All right, battery's hooked up, key on, and the gauge is on. Sweet, so now we can run our sensor plug, hook that back up to the gauge, and then we can start throwing stuff back together.
Nothing matter.
Are you sure?
I am, my breathing's restricted. Alright, it is the next day after the install, and I think I'm probably going to wrap it up for this video. Gauge is in with the bezel. It works with the key on. It looks freaking sick. Shift boot's on. Not correctly, but it's on. And I got a bunch of extra bolts that I don't know where they go. The gauge, I'd give it probably, I mean, after I figured out the 12-volt ignition source, I'd give it probably like a 6 out of 10 difficulty. It's not that bad at all. I actually had lots of fun in installing it. But yeah, we're gonna call it a video with this just to get some content out for you guys, and hopefully the next step's putting an exhaust on the car, hooking up transmission wiring, and then getting to tuning. So if you enjoyed, please feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.
For you.